Good evening, and bloody welcome to Summer Night Murder Mystery Sinking Island, even though it's winter. So let's continue where we left off in the last episode, which were in Lorenzo's studio. I'm not gonna read all this text because I haven't solved any new puzzle pieces, so there is no meaning in reading all that text. So let's talk to Lorenzo, because in the last episode we found out that the potential murderer is a former staff member. So yeah, let's talk to him.
Why didn't you talk to me about this hot air balloon earlier, Lorenzo?
And
this
that
hot air
too.
balloon has never flown, and the weather conditions are particularly bad. I didn't want to give false hopes.
Oh well, at the moment it seems we don't have any other choice than saving ourselves by air.
Okay, so let's talk to him about the printout of consultation for the library lock from 9 to 11:59 p.m.
Simbi Laktar. Does this name mean anything to you? I'd like to know if you saw him these last few days.
In fact, I hardly knew him. Simbi Laktar was a housekeeper for Mr. Jones. He was fired with all the other staff 15 days ago. I don't think that he would have come back on the island. He would have been spotted. But I noticed the disappearance of his access card yesterday evening when I wanted to destroy all the cards. His was missing. Do you want me to see what Simbi Laktar did after that?
Gladly.
Yeah, that is interesting to find out where else
Look,
that keycard had been used.
Simbi Laktar didn't move from the technical room after the evening of the murder. Here, you see, Inspector?
Thank you very much, Lorenzo.
Okay, so let's take a look on that. By the way, what is Lorenzo doing? Oh, yeah, we are standing in the hot air balloon, isn't we? So that is a steering wheel that he is working on there, and there are some levers there on the floor. Yeah, this must be the hot air balloon. It's pretty impressive, actually. It looks like a ship of some sort. So yeah, I think that this is the hot air balloon. Okay then, so his office is in a hot air balloon. Let's take a look on the new document here. Movements of Simbi Laktar's keycard during the night of the murder. The movements of Simbi Laktar's keycard in the tower since the evening of the murder. It does not seem to have moved from the technical workshop since 3 days ago. Okay. So let's take a look here. From date to date, so it is the same day from hour to, okay. Walter Jones Library on floor 21, and that's the date, and the hour is 09:51. And then in the technical workshop on floor 17, hour 11:12, access level 2. So okay, I'm not sure what the access level is, but I think it have something to do with with security level or something like that. Okay, so I think that we should head to the technical workshop, and here is a thought. We have been to the technical workshop before, and we have talked to people in the technical workshop. At least a woman. I don't remember who it was though, but she was standing in there and fixing with something. So perhaps the first person that we met in the technical workshop is the murderer. So if we look back on previous episodes, then we might find out who the murderer are or is, if we find out who were in the technical workshop the first time that we were in there. But it is a long shot, and I'm not gonna end this episode just to check out a previous video. So yeah, that was just a thought that I got now. But I really think that we should head to floor 17. Okay, I haven't made any more progress in this particular puzzle piece, but let's change the puzzle piece to this one right here. Who were the last people to go into the library before the murder? Let's highlight that like that and see if, yeah, the progress bar has filled up. Who were the last people to go into the library before the murder? And yeah, we found out about that. I think that this is the correct piece of evidence that is needed in order to solve this piece of the puzzle. So let's check it out.
Who were the last people that step in the library before the murder? Noland and Simbi Laktar were the last people who were present at the scene of the crime.
Noland the attorney and a certain Simbi Laktar were the last people to make an appearance at the scene of the crime before the murder of the billionaire.
Hats off. You're getting closer, Jack. But who is this Simbi Laktar who's just appeared out of nowhere?
Simbi Laktar is a former employee of Walter Jones. He's one of the natives who was fired some 15 days back. He lived on a neighboring island.
Okay, so maybe Simbi Laktar is the murderer after all, and he is hiding somewhere in the technical workshop. That might be the case. Let's take a look on the progression. What is Simbi Laktar still doing on the island? And that last puzzle piece. Okay. What is Simbi Laktar still doing on the island? That is a really good question. If he is in fact on the island, well, he can't be on the island because it is underwater, so he must be somewhere in this tower. Unless he have fled up to those ruins that we saw in the beginning of the game. But I don't think so. It's just too weird that a whole new character have shown up and might be the potential murderer. And if Simbi Laktar is the murderer, then what is his motive? What is his motive? Maybe that's what I said before. Well, anyway, sure, he got fired along with everyone else of the employees, except for Lorenzo then and Hubert and Noland. But yeah, what is his motive to kill Walter Jones? I just don't. I find it really weird that he have a motive that is that he have a motive to kill Walter Jones, because it just doesn't make sense. It don't make sense at all. Let's talk to Lorenzo again.
I just have some questions to ask you.
And let's talk to him about movements of Simbi Laktar's keycard during the night of the murder.
Don't you find it a bit strange that the housekeeper, Simbi Laktar, could have been closed up in the technical room for 3 days without anyone noticing?
Of course, Inspector. It makes no sense at all.
It sure don't. Was Hubert de Nolan's death really a suicide?
Did Hubert de Noland have a suicidal temperament?
An old shark like Noland dies of old age in his bed, Norm. He doesn't commit suicide.
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, so he probably didn't commit suicide. I think that I have talked to Lorenzo about everything there is to talk to him about. So I got a declaration there. Okay. What is Simbi Laktar still doing on the island? That is a very good question. Okay. Maybe I should place this right here. And I just realized something. Have I... No, okay, yeah, that's right. Picture of pistol without prints. I was thinking about if I had taken any prints from the gun, but there weren't any prints, so there weren't any prints to take. So the murderer probably wore gloves, which I talked about in a previous episode. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not sure what kind of evidence that I have collected, because as you can see, the progress bar have filled up about 50%, so I got 2 evidence that I need to place here. I think maybe it is a declaration from Lorenzo. Perhaps it's this one. I'm gonna place it there just for now at least. And the question is, should we go and talk to someone, or should we head to the technical workshop? I think that we maybe we should take a look here just in case, but I don't think that I missed anything. Let's turn the dial here again and see if we are able to get in contact with anyone. Nope, nothing new. So let's head out of here, and yeah, let's go to the technical workshop, because I am curious about where that employee could have been hiding. Let's go to the 18th floor, because that was the... Am I able to use the staircase here? No, I'm not. I thought that I might be able to go down the staircase, but I weren't. So, are there any people in the heliport lounges? Okay, so Billy is in the technical workshop. That is interesting. Martin is in the heliport lounges, so let's find him first. Sanya is in here too, as well as Coolio and Christina. Clara is in the technical workshop as well. Let's see here. Clara Jones and Billy Jones, they are married. So, or no, they aren't married. They are brothers and sisters. Yeah, that's right. They are, of course, they are the grandchildren for Walter Jones. I really shouldn't play when I'm tired. My brain doesn't function correctly. So yeah, they are brother and sister. They are not married. Okay, so they are in the technical workshop, which is very suspicious, because after what we now know, they might actually be the murderers. It might be two murderers, we don't know that, or maybe it's only one of them and they are covering up for each other because they are siblings. Who else is in the heliport lounges? Baina is in the heliport lounges. Marco is in the garden. And yeah, Hubert and Nolan is in the library. And he ain't gonna move from there in quite a while. So let's find people to talk to in the library or in the heliport lounges before we see if we can go to the 17th floor. Let's head up here then, because I think the people are up here somewhere. And there is someone in the garden as well, so I think that we should go there before we head to the technical workshop. Okay, so there is a suitcase that were locked in one of the suites before the tower were about to collapse like it is now, because see, there is a big crack in the wall here, and there are cracks there as well, and yeah, so there were a suitcase that were locked, but I want to find out what was what is inside that suitcase, but I can't seem to find the suitcase now. Maybe it's one of these. No. Well, at least here is Martin and whatever her name is. At least I remembered Martin's name now, but I kinda forgot her name. Well, anyway, let's talk to Martin.
Well, looks like you now have a new corpse on your hands, Inspector.
Yep. That is correct. Let's talk to him about printout of consultation for the library lock from 9 to 11:59 p.m.
Simbi Laktar. Does this name mean anything to you? I'd like to know if you saw him these last few days.
I don't know this man, Inspector. I made absolutely no connections on this island. It's pretty simple. I didn't meet anyone. Except, of course, the members of the family and Colio and Baina, the two natives.
Okay.
Don't you find it a bit strange that the housekeeper, Simbi Laktar, could have been closed up in the technical room for 3 days without anyone noticing?
It's incongruous, I'll give you that, Inspector. But I'm afraid we have to be prepared for anything on this damned island.
Yeah, that's true. But I really doubt that Simbi guy is the murderer. It just doesn't add up. Was Hubert de Nolan's death really a suicide?
Did Hubert de Nolan have a suicidal temperament?
I didn't know Mr. Nolan for real, Inspector. And I'd be pretty incapable of telling you if this man had a suicidal temperament.
I get it.
Okay, so let's talk to whatever her name is.
It's strange, Inspector. The death of Hubert de Nolan saddens me more than that of my grandfather. Poor man.
Okay, so we can talk to her about Nolan's ripped suicide letter, so let's do that.
Nolan had hastily written up evasive confessions on a piece of paper. Do you think that one has to look for an explanation of his suicide in them?
Maybe he was a man who had a sense of honor after all. This letter signed by him seems authentic, doesn't it? In the end, it's your job, Mr. Norm.
Why does that letter seem authentic? Was it in his handwriting, and did it have his signature? Perhaps it did, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's talk to her about printout of consultation for the library lock from 9 to 11:59 p.m.
Simbi Laktar. Does this name mean anything to you? I'd like to know if you saw him these last few days.
No, I don't know this individual, Mr. Norm.
And why should she? Because I think that the guests arrived to the hotel after the staff had been fired. So the guests never met the employees. Okay, so let's talk to her about movements of Simbi Laktar's keycard during the night of the murder.
Don't you find it a bit strange that the housekeeper, Simbi Laktar, could have been closed up in the technical room for 3 days without anyone noticing?
Mr. Norm, I don't know this man, but it seems impossible that...
Was Hubert de Nolan's death really a suicide?
Did Hubert de Nolan have a suicidal temperament?
I didn't really know Hubert de Nolan, but I have trouble believing that he was the sort of man who would commit suicide.
Thank you.
Okay then, so, yeah, I got some new declarations here, but the progress bar haven't filled up here, so let's change the puzzle piece to was Hubert de Nolan's death really suicide? and see if, yeah, the progress bar have filled up a bit there. Let's check this. Okay, so I thought that I had a new declaration from Martin here, but I didn't. Clara is her name, is it? Is it? Yeah, I think that was Clara that we talked to just now. Okay. Okay, I don't seem
I
to...
like Marco, and I respect his choices.
I didn't mean to do that. I don't seem to have any new declarations. Which is pretty weird, but okay. Okay, so there is something that I'm missing. Perhaps it is a declaration that I am missing. Let's okay, let's head this way. I think Christina is here. Yeah, she is. And I cannot take a look on any of the suitcase. Well, maybe I can take a look on this suitcase.
Would you permit me to take a look at your bags?
It's very embarrassing.
If you prevent it, then I will be obliged to consider it as an obstruction of justice.
Then do what you want, Inspector.
Yes, yes, I will do what I want. I will take a look on this suitcase right here. Alrighty then, let's see what's inside. Okay. It's 2 folders, it seems. Interesting. Okay. I might be able to check this suitcase out as well. It's empty. At least that's what it seems like. Yeah, I think it's empty because the mouse pointer doesn't change. So yeah, it seems to be empty. Okay, let's take a look on what it is that we found. Interesting. Let's take a look on this right here first. Altar diagram. A diagram showing how to position the statuettes on the chapel altar. So this is probably a puzzle. Okay, so the statuettes looks like 4 hefty women. Okay, so they should each face a different direction. I haven't found the altar yet though. So I have to do that before I am able to place the figurines on the altar or in this particular position. Let's take a look on Walter Jones' Marco relation file. A file revealing that Marco is the son of Walter and Isabella Jones. All of the details of this illegitimate relationship are in the document. Well, interesting. Marco Jones. And Yeah. I, the undersigned Marco Jones, holding sights to the inheritance of Walter Jones, presently. It's really hard reading this text. Presently hand over, free of charge, to Mr. Hubert Noland, business attorney, 10%, and then there is a 10% sign of my part of the inheritance. Segura, June 8th, 2006, without prejudice, Marco Jones. Okay. Let's read that again. I, the undersigned Marco Jones, holding rights to the inheritance of Walter Jones, presently hand over, free of charge, to Mr. Hubert Noland, business attorney, 10% of my part of the inheritance. So, does that mean that he gives 10% of his heritage to Hubert Noland? I'm not sure, but I think that is the case. Oh, let's take a look on this letter here. Houston, July 11th, 2001. My dear Marco, I have a deep and dark secret to reveal to you. I have never spoken about it to anyone outside of Mr. Hubert Noland, in whom I am totally confident. I gave him this letter with the command to pass it to you once he deems you mature enough to understand it. Edward, he who raised you and who you have always considered as your father, is not your father. In truth, you are the son of Walter Jones, your grandfather. Wait, what? So, Walter Jones is not only Marco's grandfather, it's also his dad? What? That can't be right. Okay. I am a little confused, I have to say. This terrible man once profited from the absence of Edward, his own son, to take advantage of me inside his Houston residence, where we were vacationing. Anna Jones, his wife, surprised us. Oh, so Anna Jones walked in on the action? Is that the case? Well, hell, this is complicated. Anna Jones, his wife, surprised us. Okay. Please know that it was not chronic pneumonia that killed this poor woman 2 years later, but the wound of that very day. Oh no! So she was heartbroken to find her husband in bed with another woman. You are the child of this unnatural union. The education that I received obliged me to keep you alive, even if I sometimes cursed you. I hope that you will understand me. I fear the chaos and dishonor that would have tarnished our family's reputations. I let you believe, as I let Edward believe, that you were his son. My health has become fragile, and I am not sure if I will live for much longer. However that may be, I hope that you will come to understand me one day, and perhaps forgive me. Tenderly, your mother, Isabella. I wonder what relationship Isabella had to Walter Jones. Were they related in any way, perhaps? If they were, that is really wrong. If I can't quite comprehend the meaning of this letter. I kinda do, but I don't know what relationship Isabella had to Walter Jones. Apparently she was Marco's mom, but she told her son that Walter Jones was her grandfather instead of his father, and she claimed that another man was Marco's father when that man in fact weren't his father. Wow, this is complicated stuff right here. Okay, so let's take a look on the two documents that we have left here to read. Halifax, May 2nd, 2002. My dear Isabella, I never had the courage to speak to you about this in person. Please know that despite all of your efforts to make me believe that Marco is my son, I was never fooled. I left you ignorant of what happened to me following the accident that took place during my visit to the restoration site of the Vitebsk nuclear power plant in Russia in October 1973. That day, I was moderately, I will admit, irradiated, in any case enough to be declared irremediably sterile by two specialists who examined me. Okay, so he knew that he was sterile, and therefore he knew that Marco couldn't be his son. Okay, I am here in Halifax to finish an investigative mission that my father launched against Hubert and Noland. I have learned many embarrassing things regarding this funny attorney's account. Finding himself compromised, he tried to buy my silence in exchange for a terrible revelation of the relationship between you and my father. Okay, so I think that Isabella didn't have a direct relationship to Walter Jones. They weren't blood related, because this Edward guy says that his father was Walter Jones. Okay, so now I get it. Where were I in the text? Yeah. Marco is not my son, but his. Oh yeah, but Walter Jones' son. I also learned under what circumstances my father took advantage of you. I never learned to love Walter Jones, but today I loathe him for what he has done to us. Know that I do not hold this against you, because now I understand the reason for your distance and this depression that has haunted you for so long. Regarding these details, I acted like a blind idiot, not wanting to see anything. I love you despite our sadness. Edward. Oh wow, that is pretty deep. Okay. And it is a dark revelation. It sure is a dark revelation that have come to us in the form of these documents right here. Let's take a look on the last document. Edward Jones affair, the suicide was a crime. Is that an airplane? It kind of looks like a crashed airplane in the middle of the ocean, or whatever that is. Let's read the text that is written in this news article here. It is a news article from Daily Post from May 4th, 2002, which were Friday. Edward Jones affair, the suicide was a crime. The hypothesis of the suicide of Edward Jones, the son of the billionaire Walter Jones, kept as a possibility by the investigators, seems to be ruled out today. The examination of the aircraft debris by police experts has permitted to establish that the radio and gas reservoirs filler had been sabotaged. The loss of kerosene caused the plane crash on May 3rd, 2002, 89 kilometers from the Yarmouth airport, where he took off from at 1:40 p.m., heading for Lynn, an airport near Boston. No radio distress signal had been registered in the Gulf of Maine on that afternoon. The police is still searching for the man who had been seen around 5 a.m. by the Yarmouth airport's attendant as he left the hangar where the plane was parked. Walter Jones, the victim's father, was released this morning after a very long interrogation. The police are searching for the connection between the saboteur and the person who would have orchestrated this event. So there is someone who sabotaged Edward's airplane so that it crashed before before he reached his destination, and that was the cause of his death. Wow, it goes deep. These were really interesting documents that we found in the briefcase or in the suitcase. They were really interesting. And they were in Marcos and Christina's suitcases. So that means that they must know a great deal about this thing. And I will talk to Christina about this subject, or at least I hope I will be able to talk to her about this. And I am pretty sure that I will be able to talk to her about this. But I'm not gonna do that now, unfortunately, because it is time to end this episode here. So, until next time, thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.